And so he texted me, he's like, stop blowing the guy's phone up. And I was like, what is it? When am I gonna get my money? I gave you $1,600. Where am I gonna get my money? I'm like, you know what? This is officially some bullshit. Hey y'all, so this is my very first story time and I'm very excited to go ahead and tell it to you guys because I've never done a story time before and I'm really nervous to see how you guys react to this story, and I'm embarrassing myself in this one, just letting you know now. And I thought, you know, it's a funny story now. Now it's funny because it wasn't funny when it happened, but it's a funny story and it's lighthearted, and honestly you learn a lot from this story. You learn a lot, and I hope that in telling you guys the story that I'm helping some of you. So yeah, so I am doing my hair while I am doing this video, guys, and this hair is from Nadula Hair, and look, it's so pretty. All the details in this hair will be in the description box down below, so I want you guys to go ahead and check that out for me. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out JBW watches as well. Bow bow bow, you know what I'm saying? Because this watch right here, guys, this watch right here, I'm about to step out, but like this watch right here is the bee's knee. It's gorgeous. It is the Crystal 39, and let me tell you guys a little bit about it. So if y'all see me on the streets or you follow me on any of my social media platforms, you definitely see me wearing my JBW watch. More often than not, my Crystal 39. It has real diamonds and it's surrounded by Swarovski crystals. It's a luxury diamond watch at an affordable price. You can use my discount code Cindy30 for $30 off. And go ahead and use the link in the description box down below to go ahead and get your very own JBW watch. So it is time to tell this story. I'm not going to be gluing my wig down, but just to remind you guys, this hair is from Nadula Hair, so all of the information on this wig will be in the description box down below. But let's get right to what we're supposed to be doing today, which is talking about how I got scammed out of $1,600. And yes, that is the actual number, and I got the proof for y'all and everything. So let's get right to the video. So guys, the year is about 2019. Yes, 2019 December. So that means I had just moved to Houston like within months. I really didn't know anyone. I didn't really have any friends at the moment like that, so I was really just like in my school grind and trying to do YouTube videos, but I was so unhappy with my place. Like my place, like y'all know how much I hated my old place, and honestly it was low-key like in the hood. Like it was honestly in the hood.
You in the hood now, baby.
Let's just thank God that we're not there anymore. So guys, I was really trying to work out every day. I was really trying to be on my grind out there. And there was like an LA Fitness that was like really close to me. So I would go to that LA Fitness because my mom has a subscription there, and I would just use her account and then go. So I decided to go to the gym this day, and I was working out heavy, doing my like, you know, 1 hour of cardio, when I had dropped a water like while I was coming in, and this guy had stopped and was like, oh sorry, and like he picked it up for me and was like, can I keep it? Haha, just kidding. And I was like, okay. And I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't think much of it. And then like later on he came back around. Now he wasn't the best looker. He wasn't the best looker.
You sure is ugly.
I won't even lie. And you know, for my kind of taste, it was just like a yeah, I wouldn't talk to you on a regular day, but I was super lonely at this time, and I was like, you know what, I could at least use a friend, so why not, you know, entertain whatever BS he's gonna come with whenever he comes back. So he did end up coming back. I didn't think he actually was. I thought it was just gonna be like a failed attempt at flirting, as they usually do, and he was just gonna leave and that was just gonna be it. But that was not it. He came back like after like I was really in my workout mode, and he asked for my number. I was like, yeah, I just moved back to Houston from Atlanta. I would definitely like to get to know you, we could be friends. And I was like, you know what, that's fine, because I don't have any. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm down to maybe make a friend out here. Why not? One day I was bored and I was like, okay, we can hang out. So he came over to my apartment, and in my apartment, my old apartment, I had like a bookshelf with like a picture of myself on there, a little decoration, little decor here, and then one of the things that was on there was my YouTube plaque, my 100,000 subscriber plaque. He walked in and immediately he sees the plaque and he was like, oh, you have a YouTube channel? I was like, yeah, but I don't really use it like that, da da da. Obviously lying, but I don't really like when people know that I do YouTube if they don't already know who I am, because it's just like I don't know, I don't like getting interview questions and stuff like that. Like I'm like, no, I'm okay. You don't have to know what I do. Thanks. We're just talking and having a good time, just watching TV and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, you know, he's kind of cool. He's like a nice person. And he was like, do you want to get some food? I was like, you know what? I could eat. So we're going to his car, and he has like a nice car. Like, I'm not exactly sure what car it was because I forgot. Don't know if it was a BMW. I don't think it was. I think it was like a Maserati or something like that. And I was like, ah, okay, this is a nice car. So yeah, we get in the car and we get something like to eat. It was really late, so we had to, like, you know, eat whatever was available. So I'm not sure if it was like Popeyes or whatever, but it was something. So we get the food and we head back to my place. And as we're driving, he's like, you know, I actually had a YouTube channel a couple years ago, but I ended up selling it. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah, I sold my channel for like $20,000. I was like, oh, that's cool. So you must have had, like, you know, a good amount of subscribers to sell your whole channel for $20,000. That's a lot of money to sell your channel for. And I never understand people selling their channels, because the viewers are not going to watch the video just because you have the subscribers. I wish more people would understand that, but whatever. He's like, yeah, but I had a penthouse out in Atlanta, da da da. He's really like giving me his, like, you know, creds and everything like that. And he's like, hey, you know this name? He started name dropping. Like, he started saying, yeah, you know Beyonce, I worked with her. You know Jay-Z, I worked with him. I had dinner with him. You know that dinner that everybody wishes that they had with Jay-Z? I had that with him. So obviously those weren't the actual names, but one name in particular that he did drop was DDG. He swore up and down that him and DDG were homies, that they've done work together. I don't know if DDG's ever lived in Atlanta. I don't really know much about DDG besides like that he's like a YouTuber that makes money and raps. So that's all I know really about DDG. But he was like, yeah, that's my boy, da da da. He's actually coming out here in a couple weeks to see me. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. So he was like, yeah, you know, if you stick with me the right way, then I could really put you on some game, da da da. So I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. The next week, he had said that, like, you know, DDG was coming in town that night, and he was gonna go pick him up from the airport, and they were gonna go to the studio together. And I'm like, okay, I've never been to the studio before. I'm not like typically one of those girls that kind of wants to stay in the studio either, because I feel like I'd be bored. Like, what am I doing here? But you know, he was like, yeah, we're gonna go to the studio. And I was like, okay, maybe it'll be a good networking opportunity. Maybe, you know, we could like link up, do a couple videos, yada yada yada. Because at the time my channel was like really like going slow, and I wasn't really doing videos at my place because I did not like my place. So at the time, like, you know, channel was going slow, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I don't mind networking, meeting people, showing off my charm, you know. It was just gonna be that. Like, that's all I thought it was gonna be. I was like, hey, are we still gonna go to the airport? And he was like, yeah, this dude is bugging, whatchamacallit, he's gonna be here like at 2 a.m. He chose a different flight. And I'm like, so is he riding in a PJ? Because 2 a.m., what flight's coming in at 2 a.m.? So I was just like, okay, I guess. So 2 a.m. is rolling around, and I'm like, hey, you know, so maybe I shouldn't go with you guys. It's honestly not sounding too legit either, because I just checked his story, and it looks like he's in Miami. He's like, yeah, this man is in Miami. I guess he's flaking right now, but I just hit him up, and like he'll be in Houston like next week instead. So I was just like, okay, maybe this nigga's lying about knowing DDG. I think he's lying.
Well, duh.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm very gullible though. I can't even lie, guys. I'm very gullible, and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe he's not lying. Maybe he does actually know him, because he did have video proof that he like worked with other big YouTubers, and I was just like, oh, okay, like him hanging out with them. But I don't know if that means he was working with them. I don't know. Hindsight bias is 2020. You know what I'm saying? So he told me that DDG and some other of his friends were like in this investment opportunity, and he was like, yeah, this is actually how DDG makes his money. What he does is he invests this amount of money, they flip it times yada yada yada, they give you a time frame of when you're gonna get your money back and how much you're gonna get back, and then next thing you know, you make thousands and thousands of dollars. These dudes be putting in 10,000 and be coming out with 50,000. I was like, okay, so the 500 that I have, I could get like 2,500 from that. Okay. Oh, I'm ashy. That's not cute.
I'm gonna play a little song. It's called You Ashy.
So I'm like, okay, the 500, the little 500 I have, I could probably invest that and get like 2,500, or I could like invest 1,000 and get 5,000 within a couple of months or weeks. That he said weeks. So I was just like, okay, this sounds legit, cool. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start off with like $250, because I'm just going to start off with some money that I won't miss. I was definitely heading back to Dallas around this time because it was the holiday time. So I gave him $250, and I was like, okay, give me the updates, da da da. Let me know like what date I should expect the money, da da da. And this is like early December, so he said I was to expect the money in early January. That's what he said. He said, expect the money in early January. We're going to make 5 times back this, because this is how we know the investment's going to go. I don't know nothing about stocks, and I damn sure didn't know anything about it at that moment. And I was really trying to solidify my independence. This is very important. Guys, I was trying to solidify my independence from my parents. So what was going to happen was I was going to show up with like bands and tell my parents, hey man, I've been making money and this is how. And they were going to be so proud of me, and it was just going to be a whole thing, you know. That's what the idea in my head was. And you know, for someone who had just like moved out of my house, and my parents babied me and my brothers, especially me being the only girl, my parents babied me. So street smarts I don't have. So he tells me that we should expect the money in early January. So I'm like, okay. So then he's like, hey, like a week later, he's like, hey, they got another investment thing going on right now. Let you hop on the call so that you can talk to everybody and like, you know, introduce yourself. It was like an investment group. Kind of sounds like some Forex stuff. Now that I think about it. Wow. Well, anyway, I was never actually in the group message though. He just was like, oh, I'm gonna call you in because I'm grouping you in with my money, and I don't want them to like, you know, feel like, oh, you know, she can't hang, da da da. Especially because he said they were like investing big numbers. So he said whenever they were going to start investing like the bigger numbers, then or whenever I was ready to invest like bigger numbers, then he would introduce me as like myself. But he's like, yeah, you can listen on the calls and yada yada yada. Now the 2 times that he had like told me that there were these calls, I was like super busy and I could not get to the calls, or I didn't have my phone around me, so I couldn't like, you know, answer on time. So then he would call me later and be like, hey, this is the gist of what they're talking about, so just have your money ready, da da da. So I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, oh, there's actually one where we're gonna get our money back 8 times worth. And I was like, oh, wow, 8 times worth. And he's like, yeah, so if you put in, you can get a lot out. So I'm like, okay. So the 250 from that ended up turning into 500, right? And then I was like, oh wow, I could get more. So as soon as I got paid, right, I decided I'm going to give him all of what I got paid at that moment, which was like $1,000. I said, okay, I've already given you 500. So the 250 turned into 500 because I was like, oh, let me up the price a little bit. And then I gave him an extra 1,000 so that I could, you know, be in on this 8 times back, you know, so I can get like 8,000 easily, right? So I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is gonna be like, I'm gonna have money in January, I might pay my rent a little bit late because that was actually my rent money. So I was like, oh, I might pay rent a little bit late so that I can, you know, get this stuff together. But it's gonna be fine because, like, I can pay the late fee. I can pay whatever late fee you want. Maybe I'm rich. Whatever you see on the internet of people like living their lives like lavishly, you don't know what's actually going on. I had given him the $1,000 and it was coming up on time to pay rent. And I'd already gone back to Houston from the holidays in Dallas. So I'm in Houston and I'm with Princeton, right? And I'm literally just like, okay, it's the 3rd. The money ain't here. The money ain't here. So what is we doing? The money ain't here. And around the 7th is when they start putting signs. No, on the 4th is when they start putting signs on your door like, hey, you got an eviction notice. And it's not really an eviction notice. It's more like, hey, there's a warning. Go ahead and pay your rent. And it was just like a thing. So it's just like, okay, I will take care of that. I will take care of that. So, signs on the door. They said, hey, we're going to evict you on the 7th if you don't pay your rent. So pay your rent. And I'm like, okay, not a problem. I got money coming in. So I'm calling him, right? And I'm like, I'll say his name. I don't care. I'm like, hey, Kendall. So where's the money? I need to know where the money is right now. And he was like, you're acting like you don't believe in me, like, I'll give you your money back right now, like, I'll give you exactly what you invested in right now, because you're acting like you don't believe me. I was like, oof, no, now he's like threatening me, because now, like, if he gets the money that I already put in, he's gonna pocket it. So, no, don't give me my investment, my original investment back. Just, you know, let me know when we're expecting the money. And he's like, well, it's hard to tell because, like, the deal is, like, you know, slowing down and, like, it's hard to get the money out, So I'm just like, okay, all right, well, here's my Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal information. So when the money does come in, just go ahead and send it right to me, okay? I don't want to hear any questions about it. Let's just do that. And he's like, all right. So I'm like, okay. Now, 3 days go by. I still hear nothing about the payment. Nothing. Zip, zilch, nada. Not a damn thing. I hear nothing from him about the payment. I'm just like, okay. Hey, you know, it's the 7th. I have to pay rent. What's going on? So on the day that I'm like, okay, they probably gonna come put locks on my door because I've never lived alone at this point, so I don't know how that actually goes. So I'm blowing up his phone. I mean, I'm calling 20, 30, 40 times, and he's like, the money's coming, but I need you to go ahead and send me an extra 50 to go ahead and take out the money from the account because you have to pay to get the money out. I was like, that doesn't sound like it makes sense. But if you're saying like the money's ready and it's here and you just need like me to send this so that we can get it out, okay, cool. So he was like, all right, bet. Then he said he didn't get the money. I was like, I sent it through Zelle, so you should have gotten it. He's like, I didn't get it, so send it again and I'll just send the original payment back whenever I get it. I was like, okay. So I sent an extra 50. Racks up to $1,600. That's where we are right now. $1,600. So I don't hear from him from the rest of the day. And I'm freaking out. And I go to my leasing office. I'm like, hey, I know I'm late on rent. Just give me another week and everything will be okay. And she's like, oh, you know what? It's fine. Like, honestly, all you have to do is just come talk to us. It's just communication. And here's the tea. One of the people that actually worked in the office had actually told me that girl was a drunk. So I don't even know if she was allowed to do that, but she did. So she waived me, and I was able to, like, you know, pay within weeks later. That's what she said. Because I was like, oh, I'm expecting a paycheck, but it's coming late. And she's like, okay, yeah, don't worry, we'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm still blowing up Kendall's phone because I'm like, yo, dude, we can't be doing this. I need to figure out when I'm gonna pay this rent because I'm not trying to get evicted. I don't want that mark on me at all. This is my first time moving out, and my daddy's a co-signer. I don't need that. I really don't need that. So he's like, yeah, no, I got you, da da da. And I'm like, okay. And so he was like, here's the number of the guy that is supposed to be sending you your money. I was like, okay. So I start blowing up that guy's phone, and no one's answering, like at all, like ever. And so he texts me, he's like, stop blowing the guy's phone up. And I was like, what is it? When am I gonna get my money? I gave you $1,600. Where am I gonna get my money? I'm like, you know what? This is officially some bullshit. Like, this is officially some bullshit. And he's not answering the phone at this point. And he's like, you know what? He finally calls me later that night. He's like, you know what? I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're not answering. They're not even answering my calls right now. But I'm trying to think. You know, your designer bags and your MacBook, why don't you pawn that, pay your rent, and then whenever you get the money back, go ahead and buy the stuff again. Like, go get it back from the pawn shop. That's what he told me to do. He told me to pawn my stuff so I can pay my rent. Not that he was going to give me my money. That I should pawn my stuff so I can pay my rent. Now, true story. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So how about you give me the money? How about you find someone that you can borrow it from and then give me the money? How about you do that? And he's like, well, I mean, you know, I can ask my mom, but I don't know right now because she hasn't expected her paycheck yet. And I'm like, okay, this is like studi. Like, once upon a thing. I'm just sick of it. Can we just, where's the money? Where's the money, Kendall? Where's the money? I called him again. And he said, yo, stop blowing up my phone. I'm at work right now. I'm gonna call you back. I'm like, okay. And then he finally called me back and said, yeah, so I'm moving to Atlanta. I'm like, didn't you just move here from Atlanta? You just moved to Houston from Atlanta. What is going on? And where's my money? And he's like, yeah, you know, I gotta get out. There's money to be made in Atlanta, da da da. I'm like, okay, well, good luck on your endeavors, but where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money, Kendall? Where's my money? So I start requesting the money from him on Cash App, because I wasn't hearing from him again within 2 days. I only have so little time before I need to pay rent. He blocks me. He blocks me. So I started requesting $1,600 to be paid to me on Cash App. He blocks me on Cash App. I would do requests of $1 to like type out what I was trying to say because he blocked my number. Nothing. I would get Malik to call. No answer. I would get Thelma to call. No answer. I would get my brother to call. No answer. Blocked. Gone. Disappeared. Vanished. Poof. Ghost. Mr. Kendall / Smiley High is out there somewhere. You know? It drove me so bad. I ended up paying my rent. My mom ended up helping me. I had to go ahead and tell her what happened. But, you know, that lesson just really taught me a lot. First of all, don't trust nobody. Second of all, come on, Cindy. Like, if you gonna invest on your own. Don't give your money to somebody else to invest, because that's how I lost out on money another time before. But, you know, gullible. And I learned my lesson. But it like literally drove me to the point where I felt like I was going mad. I felt like I was going crazy. I had even DM'd and emailed DDG, and I put up, actually it's actually embarrassing, so I'm not gonna put up what I said, but I did email and and DM DDG to see, like, you know, hey, is this your friend? If so, he owes me money. Can you get in contact with him so I can, like, you know, figure this out? And like, just, I was going through it, guys. I was really going through it. That was a really dark time in my life, and I'm just telling you guys this story because I know it's embarrassing. I know people are probably gonna clown me for it. I'm telling y'all this story because someone needs to hear it, just in case, you know, something similar happens to you. There's so many ways that people can get scammed nowadays. Scam likely calls, whatchamacallit, else are the people doing. I mean, I know there's plenty of scammers out here. I mean, Hush Boy, or what is his name? Hush Baby? Hush Puppy. Hush Puppy. There's plenty of hush puppies around. They're just in smaller scales. Watch out. Don't get caught. Don't get caught up. Because they searching for people like me out here. It's gullible enough to give them $1,600 because they think they're going to get it back in tenfold. Just telling y'all. Watch out. The great thing about money is it always comes back somehow, some way, in some other form. So I'm doing good. So that is it for today's video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this story time, and if you would like to hear more story times from me, because I have hella stories, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. Go ahead and like this video if you liked it. Comment down below what you liked it, and subscribe to your girl's channel, and check out Nadula Hair. Look at this beautiful hair and how it looks on me, guys. Does it look so pretty? I love it. Make sure to go ahead and leave a comment and tell me, have you been scammed before? If so, how? Who scammed you? Let's expose them. Let's bring them all out into the streets right now. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed and beautiful, gems, and I love you so much. Smooches.
Hit me up if you wanna